Well, this dream went over like a lead balloon. Um, yeah, there's nobody in here, absolutely nobody that I can see. Not even Blissful, and she comes to just about every one of my streams. Perhaps, yeah, I don't know. Perhaps I did it too late, didn't have enough promotion. I know there are issues with some people getting their notifications and all that. So it could be one of those things as well. But you know me, I like to talk. So I was hoping to have a Q&A, but if you don't have anybody in here to do a Q&A with, um, this may just be an exciting projects thing. Maybe I should have done it as a video, maybe, and just talked about exciting projects. Because I feel kind of foolish. I'm on here talking to myself, basically. Um, but I guess if nobody comes in here, then I will just talk about a few upcoming projects and then get the hell off here. so, um, so anyway, something that I have been talking to Blissful about, and also I think I brought up this in another stream that I was doing, is I've been going or perusing the recipes on the homicidal homemaker site. And she has some really cool recipes. And I came across one that I would like to try. And that is the chopping mall orange Julius recipe. So I noticed in the video that she did, and even in the pictures for it, that she had a styrofoam cup that had chopping mall on it. And I thought that is so cool. And usually she will have printables or how to's, like she has printables for the stuff. So you could take your own like plastic container and put the stuff labels on it. And she also has a recipe to make your own edible, version of the stuff to eat. Um, but there were no printables to be found for the, or no instructions on how to make this styrofoam cup. Now, however, she may have had some custom made by a company. Um, but I looked into the cost of that and wasn't too keen on the cost. So there is a guy on YouTube. His channel is It's Reek TV, and I'll share my screen for anybody that's watching this later. I can't believe there's nobody in here. Maybe, it could be a September 11th thing and people don't really feel like being online, but I did notice there were some other live streams going on that people were in. So I don't know. Maybe nobody got the notifications. Maybe Blissful's asleep. She may have decided to go to sleep early. Um, but again, I'm not going to stay on here too awfully long if there's nobody that comes in because, you know, uh, honestly, there'll be nobody to ask me any questions. So um, I am going to share the screen again for those people that watch this later. Um, who might be interested in trying this. Um, so he has videos. My mouse has been acting up on a ton of different things, doing t-shirts. And I found this really cool thing on how to make and print custom styrofoam cups. Okay. And you actually use an iron for this, believe it or not. You use an iron on low heat, um, and you you don't scorch the cup. He basically tells you to use very low heat, and he says that the way that you will know if you're applying too much heat to the styrofoam cup is that you will get these little bubbles. It'll start bubbling up around your design, and that's something that you don't want. Okay. Um, but this process involves printing out um, logos or pictures or whatever you want on heat transfer paper, basically. And then you put that on the cup, and then you have some heat transfer vinyl that you put over top of that to kind of protect the image that you're trying to transfer the cup. And then you iron using like the tip of an iron. I'm actually going to invest in a really small iron to be able to do this because they do have mini irons. And I heard that you could get one at at Walmart. So I may very well do that. So, and this is actually the video, but I'm not going to play it because I don't know what the copyright implications are. But this is the just a screenshot of the video on how to make and print custom styrofoam cups. And I urge you guys, if you're even the least little bit, I'm going to stop sharing the screen. Even if you're the least little bit interested in trying something like this, I mean, the styrofoam cups aren't going to cost you that much. I wouldn't start out with a big bunch of them. And just keep in mind that this is probably not going to be something that somebody's going to keep around forever and ever. These might be for events or something like that. And then people are simply going to drink out of them and throw them away. But when I saw the cup that Casey, the homicidal homemaker, had, and I was like, that is really cool. So I was really, really excited when I saw this guy's video. So what I have done is created my own shopping mall image complete with blood spatters on there. I hope you guys and gals can see that. And I did one that where I cut it really close, but I didn't really like that. So the next one, I, left a little bit of the white around there. I mean, you could do either one. I might try both of them and see which one I like the best of those. And then I'm going to get the blue stripes like she had on her cup. And I'm going to do the same thing with those. I'm going to make it look how I want in Photoshop. And then these two pieces, or three pieces rather, because I think there are two bars, I'm going to actually apply to the cups. And the great thing about his process is he says you'll know when the image is done and when it's been heated enough is when you start to see the texture of the styrofoam cup coming through your logo. And it literally looks like it is made on the cup, like it was, print, like screen printed or something on there. So it's a really cool process. I urge you guys and gals to check out It's Reap TV and check out all the different videos this guy has. And also check out Casey over at the Homicidal Homemaker. She also has her own channel on YouTube. You can simply search for Homicidal Homemaker. It should come up. And I've already subscribed to her as well. so you can watch all of her cool videos. In addition to visiting her site, homicidalhomemaker.com, for, even more horror movie inspired recipes. Um, so something else that I discovered that would be pretty easy for me to do, and I didn't even know it was possible, um, is that I saw that this lady was using a photo transfer process where, and I have never seen this done before. Steve said he knew about it, but he was never really interested in doing it this way. So you get label sheets of label paper, but you don't print on the labels. You actually take the labels and put them aside, and you can use them for different things. But what you're going to use is that actual shiny, waxy paper that the labels are on. And she also said that it works best with a laser printer. And this is the first time I've ever seen any sort of thing like this, for, being able to transfer photos and stuff like that to a mug, a glass, a picture frame glass. She made this really cool thing where she took the glass out of the picture frame, and what she did was she printed off the image that she wanted and the lettering and all this stuff. And she printed it on that waxy, shiny paper. And then she takes some contact paper or some laminate. And she didn't get real expensive. She said she picked that up at the dollar store, the laminate. And you very carefully lay that on top of the printed image. And you kind of smooth it out with a credit card or something so you don't get any bubbles. And you go really slow because you don't, once it gets stuck down, you can't pick it up and move it because it's going to mess up your image. So, you wait a few minutes, and then or maybe a minute or so, um, and you start slowly peeling the laminate up. And the image comes off of this waxy, shiny paper and goes right on to that vinyl laminate. Okay. And then you can simply take that and just stick it right on a glass, a mug, whatever. Now, I've been doing a little more research on how to seal these things, because if you put them on mugs or drinking glasses and things like that, you're probably going to want to seal it, right? So I've been just researching the different ways that you can seal these things. And it comes down to a few things, because if you're going to be drinking out of this glass, you want to make sure you use a food safe sealant, right? Because you don't want to poison yourself, right? So they recommend like things like Mod Podge. There is a dishwasher safe version. That works really good for mugs. I was watching this girl do it, but she said if you use clear glass and you use things like Mod Podge, or even the polyurethane acrylic stuff, that you can see your paintbrush strokes on it, and that sometimes it doesn't look real good. But if you use a frosted glass, so that's something I'm thinking about doing, having a glass that's already frosted, then putting the photo on there, then using Mod Podge. And then the way she talked, you couldn't really see the brush strokes where you were putting the Mod Podge on. Okay. And so I always recommend to people to hand wash these things. But if you get the Mod Podge that's dishwasher safe, then you should be okay. Here's something else I learned. It's important to let the product, whatever product you put on there, Mod Podge or otherwise, that you first let it dry. But then before the person uses it, if you're shipping these out, you might want to include a note with them that they should let it cure for 28 days before using it. And that's something I didn't know, and was interested to learn about all the ins and outs of this stuff. Um, so I'm soon going to be making. Oh, what that noise? Oh, it's my birds making noises in there. Um, so I think they dumped over one of their seed cups actually. But so I'm going to be making some of those styrofoam cups with, putting images on there using that heat method. Those are going to be used for the one of the upcoming recipes I'm going to be doing on Movie Munchies, and it's probably going to be one of them I do sooner rather than later. So those will make an appearance on that video. Um, Soon I'll be adding things like, the glasses with the images on them. There are acrylic glasses that are more like a hard plastic with tops and straws that I'm going to try to put images on. Um, and getting some frosted glasses and trying out the technique that I saw, and sealing them, of course, with the Mod Podge. Yeah, just a lot of exciting things in the works for me anyway. Um, it's just a shame that nobody showed up to hear me talk about this, and unfortunately this is not really going to be a Q&A. I guess you know, I'm done talking about stuff. Hope that you guys and gals will see this later. I apologize that I was so sure that at least one person would come in here, but I uh, I will have to edit like the Q&A part of the title because there obviously was no Q&A, and I apologize that the thumbnail is going to be a little deceiving. So I hope people don't get in here and think, "Oh, wow, Q&A." Nah, nobody showed up for the Q&A. So it's just me blabbing about, things that I consider exciting projects for me. So, uh for those that are wanting to know, I don't know if I'll do anything tomorrow night. In fact, I didn't know I would do anything thing tonight, but then decided kind of at the last minute, which is a very bad fault of mine, to do this. Evidently, it was not a good choice. So, well, Wednesday for sure, TJ and I should be back with our final episode breakdown for um, the third season of Friday the 13th, the series. And then after that, the Wednesdays will be devoted to um, Tales from the Crypt, which is the next television horror anthology that TJ and I are going to conquer. And let's see, Thursday, I probably will do another Seductive Poison, The Resurgence, talking about another batch of So Bad They're Good films. Friday, unfortunately, there will be no midday with Dana and Jay because I have to work the late shift at work. That means 1 to 7. So can't do midday with Dana and Jay, but Jay and I should return the following Friday for another episode of Midday with Dana and Jay. And then Saturday and Sunday, of course, you know what that means. That means some more watch-alongs. And it will be Saturday will be Children of the Corn, followed on Sunday by The Breakfast Club. Both of those should be starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I've got to get, some promotional material out for all of those things. And I hope some of you get to see this. If not all of you get to see this, if not tonight, maybe tomorrow. And oh goodness, like there were people in here. Sorry, guys. It was a StreamYard glitch, I guess, or a YouTube glitch. I've been sitting here talking and like thought I was talking to myself. Um, wow. Sorry, guys. Like the chat just all popped up there. So I guess I won't get off here then. But hey, Blair. Hey, Blissful. Uh, and there's Uncle Bill. I guess he wants to come on here. Damn StreamYard or damn YouTube, whatever. Here I thought I was alone. I was feeling really sad. Okay, I'm going to add Uncle Bill here. Hey,
Listen,
Uncle Bill.
listen, I'm on my phone, Dana, and the only reason that I'm on this is because you've got like a full crowd of people in the chat. You just can't see them. Like it's a glitch in StreamYard. So like there's people trying to like talk, but you just
Yeah.
see. I just wanted to make sure that you're aware of that. Like you're there. It's not that there's nobody in there. We keep trying to talk to you, but it's just not.
Yeah, it just popped up there all of a sudden, all these chat messages. And
Okay.
oh, man.
So
Okay.
anyway, I'm in a dark room, so I'm just
Yeah,
gonna.
I was like, you're in darkness.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you were aware of that. So I'm gonna get the hell out of here now. Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Bye.
Okay. Bye bye. All right. Yeah, guys, yeah, I don't know. StreamYard glitch, exactly. Um, hey Rooster. Yeah, I bet you guys did feel like you were in the Twilight Zone. Hey Russell. Well, now that I know there's some people in here, I might actually stay on here a little bit if you guys want to ask me some questions or um, hey tall man, you say always miss Dead Pit adjacent shows. I'm chilling with you tonight. My screen name was Slasher Freak on the message boards. You know what, tall man? I think I do remember that screen name. So did you guys hear all my ideas that I was that I was throwing out here? Blissful says Dana's been coming up with the coolest ideas. Well, thank you, Tom. And you say Dana's hat is dope as fuck. That's the only adjective like that I've received about my hat, but I like it, tall man. Yeah, I see that Uncle Bill tried to text me. No, my phone is actually in there because I try not to keep my phone close by me, in case it makes a noise or something like that. Um Blissful tried to text me. So yeah, I really apologize, guys, for the glitch. I mean, StreamYard's been doing some crazy things lately. Like when I did the body bags watch along, and Jay and TJ were on there with me. Um, like they were when I went back and watched the video, they were all just as clear as can be. But they were blocking up on me, and my internet was fine. And then StreamYard just kicked me out of my own stream, and I had to wait to get back in. and Jay and TJ were having a grand old time talking about the movie, waiting for me to get back. So, um, so since I see all of you guys and gals in here. If you want to ask me any questions, I maybe can stay around till 10ish maybe or a little after 10. If you guys want to ask me some questions. Again, so sorry. I did think it was odd that it seemed like nobody was in here. It really did. Um, so I don't know if yeah, I think I showed these. Actually, Steve got me this Harry Warden, for those of you that didn't see it the other night, for me to put another patch on my jacket that I've been working on. And then I I did get ooh, trying to show these right. There we go. I did get some larger numbers to put 81 on the sleeve because that was again that was Steve's idea that he said, well, Evil Dead came out in 81. He's like, why don't you put, like the varsity numbers on your jacket? So all of a sudden, if you guys and gals are chatting, it might pop on there. I may just have to wait for it to to pop on there. But if you guys are asking some questions and I'm not answering them, it may take another 5 minutes or so before anything pops up there. Uh, and if it keeps doing that, I may have to just 86 this. I mean, not get rid of it, but just get out of the stream for a while and try again some other time. I mean, I'll leave this one up there. I feel very foolish um, because um, here I was sitting here, yeah, da, 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 just going on about stuff, and you guys were all chatting, and even Uncle Bill came on just so he could tell me. Um, so we'll give it a little bit, and if you guys and gals are asking some questions, hopefully I'll be able to see them before 10 o'clock and be able to answer them. Um, you know what I might do? Um, I might remove myself temporarily and bring myself back in. Just one sec. I don't know if that's making a difference. Let's see. Uh, so I'm just gonna leave the studio and come back in. Let's see what happens when I do that. Just guys, bear with me here. Okay, so now I'm seeing some more messages here. So, Tall Man, you're in North Philly. Kentucky. You say what movie do you love that Steve hates, and what movie does Steve love that you hate? I don't know if Steve really loves this movie, but he liked it pretty well, and that was Wolf Cop. I hated that movie. We actually got into a big disagreement, Kentucky, about that because he was watching it, and I have this terrible habit of when Steve's watching something that I actively don't like, I will sit there and talk about how bad of a movie it is, and that just pisses him off. And I don't mean to, but just like I said, that is a bad habit, a very bad habit that I have. Um, and one that I love and Steve and a lot of other people hate is, of course, Terror on Tour. You probably heard me talk about that movie a lot. Uncle Bill hates that movie. CK hates that movie. Steve hates that movie. A whole host of people hate that movie. Yes, Russell, my man in Canada, in Toronto, Canada, to be exact. So, Uncle Bill, you say it's happened to you guys a couple of times? Blair, you say, do I have any blockbuster memories? Um, I'm trying to remember if I ever went to a Blockbuster. Now, are you talking about the Blockbuster like video rental store, or are you talking about like Blockbuster movies? Because if it's Blockbuster video store, I can't honestly recall any time I ever entered a Blockbuster store, like a rental store. Well, apologies, 1980s Betamax, but I don't think I've ever, been a big fan of Sugarland, so I probably wouldn't know the country singer from that, even if she was in the movie, which I believe you that she's in the new Exorcist movie. But I'm not going to watch that movie either, so it probably, um, yeah. So I don't know. I probably can't say anything profound about that. Thank you, Russell. The one Steve got me, I really, really like, and I'm excited about putting that on the jacket. Uncle Bill, you say, do you want my acoustic version of Fall Break from the Mutilator? Yeah, I mean, do you do an acoustic version of it, Uncle Bill? You should have did that when you came on here, man. Russell, you say you just watched The Ice Cream Man with Clint Howard for the 100th time. Well, don't be don't be worried to express that, especially in my stream. How did I know that X-Ray would bring that up at some point in time again? You say any progress on the kitchen cabinets there, Dana? Well, I actually told Steve that I was going to get back into finishing up those cabinets. It's just finding the time. It seemed like I used to have a lot more time before I started this job. Actually, this job just eats up all my time. The video started. Yeah, I don't think I ever stepped foot in a Blockbuster, Blair. Sorry about that. Kentucky, you say, do you have a favorite subgenre of horror? Uh, you know, I don't know if you'd call like Giallos a subgenre per se. I guess you would. I guess, you know, talking about it today, it may change, but I would have to say Giallos. Russell, you say Evil Speak and the Wraith is really enjoyed. I like both of those movies actually. So now that I think once went out, I think if this happens again where it looks like there aren't people in here, I'm gonna just leave the studio and come back in. I think that might be the key. Um, but you say that's just you, Russell. Well, like I said, I like both Evil Speak and the Wraith. So, tall man, you say you adopted a dog and listened to Dead Pit all day. Um, Fridays for me there for a while, that was Dead Pit Day for me because I always knew that they had a new show out on Fridays when I, first started listening to them at the end of 2008 into 2009. Um, but yeah, I totally get that. I would come home from work, and once I got settled in, it was time to download the new episode of Dead Pit. Liz, what you say? I feel like Dana's playing peekaboo and doing the hokey pokey, lol. Well, it almost was like that. You know, I was like, this is odd, because usually there's somebody in here, and my feelings weren't hurt, but I just thought it was odd, and I was a little sad that that it seemed like there was nobody in here. And you guys know me. I have a need to talk to people and interact with people and all that stuff. If I don't get to interact with people for very long, I start to get a little depressed. Blair, you say I started listening in 2009 and would listen to them on Sunday evenings and drink bourbon. Um, I didn't do much drinking when I started out listening to them, mainly because I was still living in my parents' household, and that was not, my parents weren't hypocrites or anything, but it wasn't looked upon too favorably because my parents thought that I would get, you know, uh, get where I leaned on the alcohol. And fortunately, I didn't. Fortunately or unfortunately, I didn't do that until after I moved out of my parents' house and Steve and I got married. Well, I hope Uncle Bill is still in here to see that tall man because you said they kind of saved me. So glad to be on here. Russell says, you sound like the radio producer in TCM too. But so if you guys got any other questions for me, I'll be glad to try to answer them. I hope that been pretty satisfactory with answering the questions here, or the ones that you guys have put out here so far. Um, Kentucky, you say, do you have a favorite era of horror movies? I enjoy how movies and actors looked in the early 80s. Yeah, I'd say, late 70s and into the early and mid 80s. That time period for me was, yeah, that was the golden time. Bliss, will you say sometimes when Wes is in chat, I feel like I need a drink. Blair, you say you all have helped me out through tough times. Do you have a ghost story? Um, I have some like some paranormal experiences that I could talk about real quick, Blair. If you want to hear more about some of my paranormal experiences, I have some actual live streams where we did. I don't know if you were on those, but I actually did a paranormal investigation one night, and that was really cool. It was freaky, but it was cool as well. I got all my ghost hunting equipment out and stuff. So one I consider it a ghost story was or a ghost experience, paranormal experience. When I was still living with my parents, and I was not a child, I was older, you know, upper teens or early 20s at least. And I heard a woman say Dana. And I came up out of a dead sleep and I thought it was my mom, saying my name. I thought she had gotten up and maybe was checking on me or something. And I said, Mom, and I actually, man, I guess I was brave. I got up and walked through the house just to see if my mom was awake. And she wasn't awake. Her and Dad were still in their bedroom asleep. And so I can only guess that it was some kind of supernatural experience. Um, Also, the house that my dad lived in his later teens, I guess, until he graduated from high school and he and my mom got married. So when he was a little boy, um, a house burned on the property, and then they rebuilt another house. My grand and my papa did, and so dad, like I said, dad lived, his teenage years in that house. And then, of course, he and my mom got married and moved to their own place. And that house was there on the property for years and years and years. And then my papa passed away. And of course, my gran was like, this is too big of a house just for me to have to take care of. And so she basically had an auction and auctioned the house and the ground it was on. And somebody bought it and they were fixing it up and stuff. And not long after they got it, remodeled some of the inside, that house burned down on the same property. And it was always told to me that there was either a Civil War burial ground or an Indian burial ground somewhere on the property. And so I actually talked to Patty Starr and her husband, who are ghost hunters in Kentucky. I mean, they went other places, but I think they were actually the ones that got Scarefest started. And they're probably more interested in the paranormal guests than they would be the horror movie guests. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's the big reason that they backed Scarefest for so long. And I don't know if they're still like if they still head up Scarefest, but they used to. Um, and of course, that's in Lexington, Kentucky. Um, and also, I had a couple of experiences at Waverly Hills here in Louisville, the old tuberculosis hospital. And I've showed pictures. The first time Steve and I went was a 2-hour investigate or a like a 2-hour tour or whatever, because Steve didn't want to stay half the night or all night or anything. It's just not his thing. And so I didn't notice anything unusual until a few days later. I had my pictures put up on the computer and I was just cycling through them and discovered that there were pictures of, or there was one picture where you could see our guide was talking to everybody and everybody was kind of standing around the guide. But if you looked behind the guide or to the side of the guide, there was a woman there. And I don't remember this woman. I called Steve back here to look on the computer screen. He did not remember the woman. And so I got to looking at her more and more, and it was just very odd because her hairstyle seemed old-fashioned. She had a hat in front of her that had a ribbon on it. And I actually went back, and the hairstyle that this woman had was very similar to hairstyles in the 20s when Waverly Hills would have been a tuberculosis hospital. So all I can gather was, and you guys can feel free to call bullshit on this, but I know what happened. I know what I saw. Um, so I can only guess that she was either a patient or a nurse or somebody, and she was just seemed to be standing there towards the back of the room observing us, you know. And so the second time I went back to Waverly Hills was for a half the night investigation, like a 6 hour jobbing. And um, I went with my neighbors, and my neighbor Kim became ill during the our investigation, and all we could gather was, and the guide even said this too, that the spirits must have been messing with her because she's one of those real sensitive people. And she got so ill she could not stay for the entire 6 hours and had to go out to the car in the parking lot and sit there and wait for me and her husband to finish the investigation. She was so upset because I had gotten tickets specifically for me and her because our birthdays are close together, and it was supposed to be a birthday present for she and I. Um, but when her husband and I were in the what they call the death tunnel, I know that's crude, but that's slang for what they call it, because this is where they took out the bodies of the people that had passed away from TB. And they did this, they took them through this tunnel so that the other patients in the hospital wouldn't see them carting out these corpses of people that had died. So we went all the way to the end of the death tunnel, and then we turned around and we went back up. And as we were going back up, I was just filming different things with my phone. Okay. And because basically my video camera and stuff, the batteries just drained. And I've always heard that when there's a lot of spiritual activity, it will drain batteries and everything. So by that point in time, I was down to just my phone that I was either taking pictures or filming with. So I was filming with my phone as we were coming back up the death tunnel. And I saw what appeared to be a woman in a long dress, kind of just floating. And when I saw her, I was like, "Oh my god," I saw something again, and only this time I'm actually seeing the apparition. And so Troy, my neighbor's husband, I said, "Hey Troy," I said, "Do you see that?" And it took him a second or two, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I see it." you know. And so we kept walking towards the apparition, and we were talking to her. We didn't want her to go away, but unfortunately she did. Right before we got to the beginning of the death tunnel, she just kind of evaporated. But very, that's the big paranormal stories I have. That was a good question, Blair. DJ. You say, question, how many of the last few episodes of Friday 13th, the series, have you watched? Does this give you any indication, TJ? I promise I'm going to watch them before Wednesday, though. I promise. Blissful, you say, I hear my name a few times a week. My house has leftover residents, I believe. Actually, I know. Yeah, they probably are friends with Chip Coffee, Blair. Cause he does all the paranormal shows. Tom Haney said, "Wow, that is freaky as fuck all." Oh, now my mouse is acting up here. I hate when this thing does this. There we go. Hope I didn't mess anything up. Um, Tom Haney said, "Oh shit, I heard mad shit about Waverly, bro." Yeah, it's I think it's considered one of the most haunted places. Russell, you say we had a friendly ghost in our house and they helped us with homework. Leslie, you say you just felt TJ cringe. I think I felt him cringe too. Uh, yeah, Blair, or I mean Blissful. Mouse possession. Yep. I don't know. I do believe my mouse needs an exorcism sometimes. Um, so I probably am going to get off here about 10. So if you guys have any more questions for me now that the chat's actually working now, I'll be glad to take a few more questions. I really like that question, by the way, Blair. Um, I always like talking about paranormal stuff. I was really hoping that Uncle Bill would be able to stay on here for a while, but bless his heart, he was trying to help me out, so he came on here just so he could tell me that people were in here. Oh, well, you're very welcome, Kentucky. So thanks for answering my questions. I like doing these little Q&As or ask me anything shows from or streams from time to time. I mean, I guess you could have overkill with them if you did them too much, but I hadn't done one for a while, so I decided to have that as the last half of my stream. But got about 4 more minutes, so oh well, Blissful. Maybe I can get together with Dirt and see if we can do another paranormal stream because I'll tell you, Dirk had some really interesting, very emotional stories about his experiences with the paranormal. And I loved having him on to talk about that. And I'd love to have him on again to discuss anything else he's got. Plus, anybody else in here that would like to come on. You don't necessarily have to be on video if you want to do an audio only, if you would be more comfortable like that. If I could get enough uh, uh, interest in it, I would probably do another paranormal show. Oh man. Now if we had CK in here tonight, Tom man, there would be a disagreement here because I don't hate Madman, but I sincerely think that The Burning is the better film. So for me, The Burning, if CK was in here, he'd say Madman. Well, that's okay. That's okay, Tom man. I don't mind. Tommy, you said burning over Madman all day, but I like Just Before Dawn over both. Just Before Dawn's a great film as well. Me and Uncle Bill talked about that a little bit the other night when he was on my Seductive Poison the Resurgence podcast talking about so bad they're good movies. Oh, thank you, Russell. You have a good night too. And it was good to see you in here. You said good night, Dana. Bliss, have another live stream to attend. Y'all rock our world. So, anybody got any more questions in these last couple of minutes? I'll be glad to answer them real quick before I get off of here. This turned out to be actually a great stream as soon as I realized that there were actually people in here. Um, I bet that did seem weird to you guys. Here I was going on about there's nobody in the stream, nobody in the stream, nobody's asking questions, and all of that. Since you guys like my hat so well, I can't wait until I get my jacket with all the stuff on it, all the patches and stuff on it. I bet y'all were. I was looking, when the comments started coming up there, I was like, oh, like it's like they weren't, there was nothing there, and then poof, they came up there, and then there was a delay. And so that's when I actually left the studio and came back in, and that seemed to fix it. So I'm going to try to remember if that happens anymore just to do that. Well, it is now officially 9:59, so I think I'm gonna tie this up here in the last few seconds. But I wanna thank everybody for being here for this, kinda impromptu live stream, and I'm sorry, uh oh, well, there's Dirk. Dirk says, "Hey, Dana, just woke up from my dinner, nap, getting old." Well, Dirk, do you have any questions for me before I get off here? And Tall Man says Friday 5 or Halloween ends. Definitely Friday 5, Tall Man. Definitely Friday 5. Woo, man, yeah, Halloween ends is bad. Russell, you say had have a sad fact about the burning. The full burn stunt done by a 17-year-old kid and died during the Airwolf movie in a helicopter crash at 23. Yes, that is very, very sad. Yeah, I was kind of shocked when I heard that. Well, thank you again, Tall Man. You said that that is a dope fucking hat. I hope you say the same thing about my jacket when it's kind of like a varsity jacket thing with these different patches that I've been putting on it. Russell says, "Oh, that's me, 67." You're still a spring chicken, Russell. You ain't that old yet. Um, well, I guess I am gonna skedaddle on out of here for the night. I'm gonna try to get me some rest, maybe try to watch Halloween again. I've been falling asleep every time I try to watch Halloween lately, and not because Halloween is not a great movie. Um, Dirk, you say, would you ever want to cover the Nephilim? Am I pronouncing that right, Dirk? I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't know. I'd have to. Maybe that's something I should know what it is. You talking about the Hebrew Bible, Dirk? Oh no. Okay. It's let's see. The Nephilim are mysterious beings or people in the Hebrew Bible who are described as being large and strong. Translates to the fallen ones. Oh well, heck yeah, Dirk. I'd want to do that. I'd probably have to do a little research on them first, but yeah, that would be interesting. Would you want to be on here with me if I covered that? I'm sure you could give me a lot more insight into them. Um, but guys and gals, it's been fun. But I think it's time for me to officially skedaddle on out of here for the night. And I will see everyone on the flip side. Y'all have a good night. Don't know if I'll be back on here tomorrow night. We'll just have to see how things go. Dirk, you say sure thing. Awesome. We'll have to get together on, scheduling that and all that. Um, but everybody have a good night. Thank you guys in the chat. I'm so sorry that StreamYard had a glitch and I thought I was in here alone and you guys were just chatting away in there and wondering what in the world was wrong with Dana, actually. So, um, y'all have a good night. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.